Hello, welcome back to the Sydney Stoner channel. My name's Chris. How are you? Hope you're doing really well and staying as healthy as you possibly can. It's definitely time for a video, isn't it? It's been a long time since I've done a video, but I generally say that at the beginning of every video I put out because I only want to put out content that I think is going to be useful, and I've been running out of ideas of what content to put out. So if you've got any ideas, if you've got anything that you want me to talk about, bearing in mind I have Crohn's disease and I have a colostomy, if there's anything you do want to know about any of that, then please say so, and I will try and do a video in relation to your comments. So I was sitting up here in my man cave, which I like. It's my little sanctuary, my little escape from the world, and I thought, what can I do a video on? I've recently just gone over 2,000 subscribers, so thank you ever so much to everybody that subscribes to the channel. It really helps and it's fantastic, and the comments I get are generally really good, and I do try and respond to every single comment. I do miss some here and there, but I do try my hardest to do that. So I was sitting up here contemplating, thinking I haven't put a video out for a while, I need to, and then I just couldn't think of what to put out. So I thought, well, hang on a minute, I've never spoken about fibromyalgia, so that's the video I'm doing. Let me just have a quick slurp of coffee. So yeah, fibromyalgia. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia some years ago now, I can't remember when, because I have problems with memory, which is a symptom of fibromyalgia. Call it brain fog or fibro fog. And you get fibro fog, no you don't, you get brain fog with chronic illnesses as well, such as Crohn's disease. So I've always struggled a bit with the old brain fog, but in fibromyalgia terms it's called fibro fog. So yes, I do struggle with memory issues. There's lots of things that I cannot remember at all anymore. Even if someone jogs my memory or tries to jog my memory and say, do you remember we went to this place and we did X, Y and Z? I have no memory of it. It's absolutely gone. I cannot recall it. Even if I look at a photograph, it doesn't recall those memories. So I have that a lot. And sometimes that can be quite upsetting because there's lots of things about my life that I can't remember. And there's lots of things about my children growing up. I've missed bits that are gone from my brain, and that's really sad. But there's nothing I can do about that. So just have to live with that. So yes, I was diagnosed quite some time ago, and certainly in the UK, fibromyalgia carries a bit of a stigma. Some people call it lazy person syndrome. If you can't get diagnosed with anything, you can get diagnosed with fibromyalgia and have an excuse not to go to work and claim benefits and do X, Y and Z. Well, let me just tell you right now, fibromyalgia is definitely real. I do work full time. I don't take time off because of it. I don't claim any benefits. But if it is that bad for you and you are off work, it's genuine. But people do call it a lazy person syndrome, and that's just not the case. And I think some of that comes why people call it that, also because of the extreme fatigue and tiredness that you can get from fibromyalgia, where you just cannot function. That extreme, absolute extreme fatigue and that feeling is all consuming. It is so all consuming, and it does happen to me sometimes when I'm at work and I get that attack of that fatigue, and your brain just feels like it's just made of mush, and you feel heavy, your body feels heavy, every movement you make hurts and feels heavy, and your eyes just want to close. It's so difficult to explain unless you've ever suffered with proper fatigue. It's like being super tired, but 10 times as bad, and all you want to do is lie down. But then you go and lie down, but you don't fall asleep. You just lie there with your body feeling like it's throbbing and your brain feels like mush. It's horrible. Sometimes I can fall asleep when I'm in that deep fatigue, but other times I cannot fall asleep, and all you want to do is go to sleep and you can't. You can just have that fatigue feeling and everything feels 10 tons in weight on your body, and then you don't fall asleep, and that it's really frustrating because that's all it feels like your body wants to do. So extreme tiredness, I've certainly suffered with that. But let me say, it really does exist. It's not a lazy person syndrome. It really does exist. And it's difficult. Doctors in the professional world, the medical world, have always found it difficult to find an absolute root cause for it. But what they do say is it can come from trauma. be it mental trauma or physical trauma. Now, I've had over 25 operations in the last 10 years, so I've definitely had a lot of medical trauma. And with having all that medical trauma, that does create mental trauma as well, because you're living with it, and obviously your brain's processing everything. So I think I was on I can't speak. I was on an awful lot of medication over the last 10 years, lots of biological medications. And my personal feeling is a lot of those medications have also contributed to me having fibromyalgia as well. I've certainly had a lot of trauma mentally and physically. So that probably is the root cause of mine. And a lot of professionals do say it probably does or could stem from that. So then what happens with your body with fibromyalgia is your nerve signals are not working properly with your brain, which then can sometimes create a more intense feeling of pain. Even small little knocks can sometimes feel like that would hurt, really hurts, when it actually shouldn't. That I've definitely experienced, where just tapping something, all of a sudden that's quite a pain, rather than just, it's just a tap. You know, that's kind of what fibromyalgia does. It's all nerve signals. It's all to do with the nerves, the nervous system and the brain. Things are not marrying up properly. So let's talk about my symptoms. I've already covered a couple. The extreme fatigue, that's epic. We've spoken about that. Fibro fog, brain loss, brain memory, if you like. We've spoken about that as well. Sleep is a big issue for me. I've always had sleep issues, probably from a young age. I struggle with getting a good night's sleep. If on a very rare occasion I have 6 hours sleep solid, it'd be really light. Like this tiniest little noise and I'll wake up. I've never had what I call really deep sleep. My sleep is always broken. I'm always waking up for ages and trying to go back to sleep. Which again, that won't help with the fibro fog. That will really contribute to causing problems in that area. The biggest issue I have with it, apart from fibro fog, which is quite epic, is the joint pain. The joint pain I've had over the years has just been barbaric. Mainly, I'm in pain 24 hours a day, every single day, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, I'm in pain in my body. Some of the biggest pain I get is right in the base of my spine, and it feels like it's being twisted, like someone's got hold of it and it is twisting it. Sometimes I feel like I'm walking with my body twisted because I'm trying to relieve some of that symptoms. So I do walk a bit twisted sometimes. That is barbaric, and that got so bad over the years that there are occasions when, if I'm on holiday and we're doing a bit of walking, I have had to use a walking trolley thing, you know, the push-alongs with a seat on it, so I can stop and sit down and take some of that pressure off. And being that I'm only 48 and I was using that 5 odd years ago, I haven't used it for a while, so I was in my mid-40s. I did get some funny looks, some very funny looks off people. But it enabled me to get out and be out with the wife and kids, but I would have to stop. I would have to sit down on it, just push myself along on it, because the pain in the base of my spine was just barbaric. And then that kind of progressed into finger pain. My fingers generally always ache and always hurt. My knees and my ankles just throb daily, just constantly throb. They're the biggest areas for me: base of the spine, hands, knees and ankles. And I've been tested for arthritis, and I've had scans for arthritis, and they generally say there isn't any inflammation, but they feel like they're swollen. Sometimes they even look a bit swollen, but they say there's no inflammation, so they kind of rule out arthritis. And I think that's how in the end how I ended up being diagnosed with fibromyalgia. But yeah, like I say, the pain that I get in the base of my spine, it is unreal, absolutely unreal. Like I said, it just feels like someone's got hold of my spine right at the very bottom and they're just twisting it. And I live with that generally every day. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it can happen. It can get that bad. But my knees and my ankles, my fingers throb and throb and throb. And in the winter months, I hate the winter. I don't like the word hate. It is quite a strong word, but yeah, I really dislike the winter. In the winter, it is all worse. It is far worse. And I think it's been proven in the professional world that cold temperatures people with fibromyalgia suffer more, and that is definitely the case. I cannot stand the winter. I long for heat. I love heat. The heat does certainly help with lots of heat and hot weather. The symptoms do seem to ease. I don't know if that's a mental thing, I'm not sure. But in the winter, pain definitely increases. I knock myself in the winter and it just hurts epic amounts. But in the summer, it does massively reduce in the summer. And my body generally behaves better in the summer. My Crohn's disease and everything else generally behaves better in hot weather. Cold weather, not good times for me. Really, really is not good times. I dread the winter. And here in the UK, in England, our winter weather this year hasn't been too extreme. We've had some cold temperatures, but it hasn't been really cold like it has been on a few years gone by. So I'm pleased about that. And the trees are now have blossom on them. I'm starting to see the leaves starting to appear on trees, and that makes me very happy because that means summer is definitely coming and my body can chill out for a few months. That's if we get a good summer. Hopefully we really will, because I like being out. I like doing things. I like being out and about. I like doing barbecues. I like entertaining friends and family, but that's very difficult in the winter with how my body reacts. So yes, I do work full time. I work in a very demanding role, and I work a 4 on 4 off shift pattern. So I do 2-day shifts and then I do 2 night shifts, and that can be hard work. Absolutely can be hard work. The job itself can be really demanding as well, but it is hard work. My first, what we call rest day, or day off if you want to call it that, I generally spend in bed. I generally am flat out all day. I'm exhausted, absolutely exhausted, but I love my job. I'm not going to change it, and I keep going to work and I just deal with the pain. There's no medication that helps that I found. Painkillers, they don't really do anything, so they're pointless, and then taking lots of painkillers is not good for your body either, especially with bowel disease, having Crohn's disease. Taking lots of things like ibuprofen is not good news for that either. So I generally don't take painkillers. I just push through with it. Hot baths I find really helpful as well. Chilling in a hot bath with loads of bubbles and relaxing, that definitely helps. Exercise, people say with fibromyalgia you must do exercise. It doesn't work for me, I can assure you. Walking is painful. Why do I want to go on a 2-mile walk as exercise? It bloody hurts. But I will walk. I do go out, and if we go away in our camper van, I will do walking, but I take breaks every so often to try and relieve the pressure on the areas that hurt. But yeah, exercise, that doesn't help. It might make me feel a bit better up there, but it doesn't stop the pain. So exercise doesn't work for me, but it may work for you. Swimming, I need to try swimming. I love swimming. Maybe that will help as well. Anyway, I've spoken long enough about my experience with fibromyalgia. It definitely exists. It definitely is real. It is not a lazy person's illness. It exists. It is real. There you go. Thank you very much for watching my video on fibromyalgia. I will see you all soon, in probably many months' time, and I decide to do another video. There you go. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all soon. Bye now.